what it is. Every revolution or every political movement or any kind of change, and having someone, okay, CIA, which is fucking for you to call me CIA when you know I'm not.
Everything was politicized. It was, oh, this is when we became the left versus the right. But both sides are trash. In COVID,
his own thing. So it seems to be that money's the issue, that like we're using money and that's how politics is being pushed. Because now we've seen what someone does when they use their own money, and it doesn't seem to be a solution. So I feel like we take money out of politics, we'll have a much better political system.
Politician, you think they're gonna come out and tell me the truth? They was lying to my mama. They ain't gonna never tell us.
So everybody, we look at certain things just because, oh, this happens in the hood or we see this every day. All the way up. These people were speaking truth. King, we could talk X, we could talk it all. They were speaking truth.
What's going on in anyone's mind, but let's take it as a given that Gray's argument is true, that the argument to not have ID is that it would be discriminatory versus certain socioeconomic brackets or something. It's like
the world's greatest trial run of what people will do and what people won't do. And we are the only country on the planet that really fought against the government. A lot of it.
Because you focus on 80-20 issues. I'm looking at the Epstein issue as we have 80% of the information we need to prosecute these people that actually did anything, but you're focusing on the 20% trying to take down Donald Trump, which you're never going to get. So I'm going to keep sitting here with a smug-ass face on every single day.
I'll explain. Good question. I'll give you the answer. The Republican Party constantly talks about transgenders and transgender surgery to minors.
I'm mostly on the left ideologically, but I don't associate with the Democrats because they're not ideologically on the left. The Democrats are clowns, and they're also losers.
About to be any engaging conversation. It's not about to be any discourse about different political ideologies, what works and what doesn't. If that is the outcome, right? For example, I'm not going to go and just put myself in the middle of a KKK rally.
Verify me. I'm not a fucking Fed. They always do this. I'll say this, right? But they did the same thing to Nick. We've seen the video. They'll call people who are genuine and authentic Feds. Because
the interesting thing to me is that the ones that claim that they believe the Constitution are now trampling the Constitution. The ones that said they believed in the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, right, are now going against the freedom of
leadership perspective.
They don't have no plan. They don't ever talk about nothing positive about the Democrat Party. Everything is just anti-Trump. They're not willing to have a conversation. They call us fascists. We willing to have a conversation. Charlie Kirk's willing to have a conversation.
Police say the person responsible for the brutal murders of Hollywood icon Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle is their very own son.
They worked throughout the night on this case and were able to take into custody Nick Reiner, a suspect in this case.
The 32-year-old arrested at 9:15 last night, according to police, less than 6 hours after the disturbing discovery of the couple's bodies inside their Brentwood home.
Verifying, we have 2 cardiac arrests.
A source close to the family telling NBC News both appear to suffer fatal stab wounds. Nick had been living with his parents on and off, according to 2 sources with knowledge of the situation, who say the 3 attended a party thrown by Conan O'Brien on Saturday night. Those sources tell us Nick was disruptive and made guests feel uncomfortable. adding that Rob and Michelle were embarrassed by his behavior and even expressed worries about his health.
All I ever wanted was a way to kill the noise.
In 2015, the father and son teamed up on the movie Being Charlie, a film based on Nick's own struggles with drugs.
It's not a secret, but my son, Nick, who was one of the writers of the screenplay, had his problems with substance abuse, and he went through a number of rehab programs.
The Reiners and their 3 children together recently, photographed on a red carpet in September. That's Nick in the middle. Reiner, the son of legendary comedian Carl Reiner, first gained fame as Archie Bunker's son-in-law on All in the Family.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Stivic. You are a meathead.
Then pivoting to film, writing and directing beloved movies, spanning genres.
No, don't touch it.
I was just pointing at it.
Well, don't point.
From The Princess Bride.
Life is pain, Highness. Anyone who says differently is selling something.
To redefining rom-coms with When Harry Met Sally.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Where Reiner gave his own mom a famous cameo.
I'll have what she's having.
He told stories about friendship and loss.
I'll see you. Not if I see you first.
And perfected the courtroom drama with A Few Good Men.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Today, Kevin Bacon remembering his time with Reiner on that set.
The making of that movie was one of the best experiences that I've ever had.
While Jane Fonda said she just saw the couple Saturday night, calling them wonderful, caring, smart, funny, generous people.
And Morgan Chesky joins us tonight live from that scene. Morgan, when could Nick Reiner be charged?
Yeah, Tom, we know that LAP detectives plan on presenting their evidence to prosecutors tomorrow with formal charges anticipated on Wednesday. As for the 32-year-old Reiner, he remains behind bars being held without bail tonight.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're going to keep it going with y'all.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Kim.
It's Mia.
I'm Enzo.
And I'm Kamal.
So, yeah, condolences to Rob Reiner and his wife, if I said his name right. There's a big case going on. I think the son just got arrested. Kim, you are connected to Hollywood and I think you live in LA. So what do you think about the case?
It's a very sad case. It's a very, very sad case. Brentwood is also where Nicole Brown Simpson was murdered. It's also where Marilyn Monroe overdosed. There's a lot of areas in outer LA where like these fancy areas like in Los Feliz with the Charles Manson murders that have like this heavy presence of like these negative demonic energies, and you feel it and it actually metastasizes in incidences like this. But what makes this murder particularly very, very sad was that it was their son, and it was their son who was suffering from drug addiction. And I read somewhere that it was actually the daughter who found them dead in the home, who told the police, "You need to look into my brother." And that's why they went out and looked for him. And it was, other people have also mentioned about how Rob Reiner was trying really, really hard to help his son. And that's why he went to the party with them that night before the Conan O'Brien party. So they were trying to bring him along, trying to help him, and to have their son ultimately murder them brutally in their own home is very sad.
So why are we talking about this? This isn't a true crime podcast. The reason we're talking about this is because the president attacked this man after this tragedy, but I'll let you see the video.
Inappropriate, unpresidential. And these are the comments from Republicans on Capitol Hill today. Forget the Democrats for a sec, about the comments that President Trump posted on social media this morning about the tragic murders of Hollywood director Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle. This all started this morning when Trump said that the murders were, quote, reportedly due to the anger Rob Reiner caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession with President Trump. So that struck a lot of people as really in horrible taste and lacking basic humanity and compassion. Congressman Don Bacon, Republican of Nebraska, reached out to me and said, quote, I'd expect to hear something like this from a drunk guy at a bar, not the president of the United States. Can the president be presidential? Republican Congressman Tom Massey of Kentucky said, this is inappropriate and disrespectful discourse about a man who was just brutally murdered. I guess my elected Republican colleagues, the vice president and White House staff, will just ignore it because they're afraid. I challenge anyone to defend it. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene said, this is a family tragedy, not about politics or political enemies, and should be met with empathy. Interestingly, President Trump's comments about Rob Reiner and his wife being murdered are in stark contrast with what Rob Reiner said after Charlie Kirk was murdered. He went on Piers Morgan's show and said the following about the horrific murder of Charlie Kirk.
I don't care what your political beliefs are. That's not acceptable. That's not a solution to solving problems. And I felt like what his wife said at the service, at the memorial they had, was exactly right. And what she said to me was beautiful and absolutely, she forgave his assassin. And I think that is admirable.
Quite a contrast from what President Trump said.
Mia, so is it all gloves off with politics? It is allowed that President Trump go too far?
I mean, he's the president. People love to hate him and hate to love him. I mean, he's going to talk shit, and that's why people like him. Do I think some of the things he says are uncouth? Yeah. Yeah, I think they are. Obviously, this man was just brutally murdered in his own home, potentially, allegedly by his child. Obviously, maybe we probably should have a little bit of couth. I mean, but at the end of the day, I mean, Trumpers are going to love him regardless of what he does. That man could shoot a baby in the face and they'd still somehow say the baby deserved it. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter. At this point in time, it does not matter. If you love him, you love him. You hate him, you hate him. I mean, I wouldn't say something that disrespectful about somebody who just died. However, I mean, it is what it is. People in the comments on this video are showing that it doesn't matter what he does. They're going to agree with it anyways.
So let's play some clips of Rob Reiner of things he said about Trump to see if Trump's reaction was warranted.
An utter lying buffoon. I mean, I'm going to tell you the truth. He's a fraud. He lies. He cheats people. Everything that comes out of his mouth virtually is a lie. And he's a con man. And if you look at what he's done with his career and how he's tricked people into things, it's abhorrent. I never liked George W. Bush, his policies, but I didn't hate the guy. I hate this man. I've never hated a politician. I can't not hate somebody who bilks innocent people out of money, life savings. And we've seen it. With that Trump University, he took people's money, $35,000, wiped these people out, and is being sued for it. He steals money from charities. I'm not making.
Kamal, is Trump allowed to attack the dead? Is the beef still going even if the person's dead?
Nah, we got to hear Enzo. F all that. I want to hear
I've been waiting for this.
I go after Enzo. I want to hear what Enzo got to say about this first.
I think it's completely normal that the president of the United States is using his First Amendment right the same exact way that everybody else wants to use their First Amendment right when Charlie Kirk was unalive, the same way that Rob Reiner was cheering when Donald Trump almost got assassinated too. Everybody forgets about that. The one thing about Donald Trump that I will say is this: he's a master of controlling the media. He put that out. That's all everyone is talking about is his tweet. They're not trying to make Rob Reiner look like a saint, even though he's probably got some skeletons in his closet that nobody wants to dig up. They just want to talk about just what Donald Trump said. But I don't really see anything wrong with what Donald Trump said, because in the first part of that Jake Tapper just loves to just miss, right, is a very sad day. And at the bottom, rest in peace to Rob Reiner and his wife. I don't see anything really wrong with that, because I mean, the videos speak for itself. Videos speak for itself of Rob Reiner literally just dealing with TDS and saying, I literally hate this man. I literally hate this man. I got a whole list of Rob Reiner's tweets that he went out on a rampage against Donald Trump with. The man, like, he's no saint. Donald Trump can say what he wants, same way that he said what he wanted. It is what it is. It's sad. It's sad that his son, who's an addict, unalived him for whatever family disagreements it was. That's sad. Sad that he's unalive, but I don't see this as him mocking the dead or making fun of the dead the same way that the Democrats literally ran around and still run around with Charlie Kirk's name, running his name to the fucking muck. I don't want to hear nothing from the Democratic Party. Your moral high ground and PC compliance is completely out the window after that shit. So that's just my take on it. I really don't care what Democrats have to say about it, and I've been saying it all day on the podcast or on my live. So
why do you think a lot of Republicans are standing up against Trump on this specific instance and not the hundreds of thousands of other horrible things he said before, which is consistent with what he said about Rob Reiner?
Midterms are coming up. That's why. It's the infighting. Marjorie Taylor Greene, biggest one. Thomas Massie just goes against everything that Donald Trump says to begin with. And I forgot who the other guy was. I don't even know shit about him. Thomas Massie just disagrees with anything the Republicans do. He votes down literally everything the Republicans do because he's libertarian, the closest thing to a Republican. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's got her issues with Trump for whatever reason. He probably didn't sleep with her, and that's why she's mad with him.
So since Enzo said that, I want to play another Trump supporter that talked about TDS.
The fruits of their labors. Rob Reiner was an angry, vile man. He shouldn't have been killed by his son, though. That wasn't right. But it shows you what happens when you're raised in that environment, when anything that you want is okay, that you can justify anything, and mommy and daddy tell you that you're not going to get the inheritance that you thought you were going to get, and, well, that's what happens. That's the liberal mentality. They lived and died by exactly how they lived. Now, the fact that I'm pointing that out doesn't make me somebody that, oh, you're disrespecting him. I have no respect for Rob Reiner. He was a vile pig. Did I mention that at the beginning? But I did not wish death upon him or his wife, or that his family be destroyed this way. No, I didn't have to. Liberal ideology did all the work for me.
So come on, there seems to be the trend, a guy being attacked after he's died for his political ideology. I mean, is this healthy? Is this the new trend that we're going to do with people? Like, what do you think?
Well, first of all, what's good, Kelly? I see you in the chat. You feel me? Second, the new trend, this shit been happening. God damn. Like, people always speak ill of they dead ops. We just seen it online now. That's what's happening. But I will say this. Y'all need to lay off 50 Cent, because you see them folks, man. Do you see how they get down? 50 Cent just made a documentary about Diddy. Donald Trump shitted on Rob Reiner, or Reiner, how the hell you say his name, the day he passed. God damn. That cold-blooded. But, hey, that's the way this shit going now, though. You feel what I'm saying? So I just don't put it past people at this point. But yeah, man, my black Americans and black folks out there, man, y'all gotta stop with the bullshit with being like, it's our own kind that doing it. Look at 50 Cent that did it. Man, did you see what was the white guy you just played just now? Who the hell was he?
Huh?
With the glasses that you just played. Who was that?
He just went viral on X for saying that. He was pretty upset. He was arguing with people.
with the Hollywood people. I thought he was like Rob Reiner's cousin or some shit.
He's just some random white dude.
Damn. I
No,
thought
I don't play this guy because were you done, Kamal?
Yeah, I was done. Yeah.
Because Enzo brought up a good point. Everybody's comparing to Charlie Kirk. So this is what this guy had to say about Charlie Kirk.
Rob Reiner is horrific, but he did spew a lot of hatred, anger, and divide. I'm sorry, that's how that works, right? Unfortunately, I don't have an evil enough bone in my body to genuinely make that statement. So for me, it's just absolutely horrific how somebody can be murdered like that, stabbed in their own home, them and their wife, by their son, by anybody. If this was a political attack, it would have been horrific. No matter what, this is just an all-around horrific attack, and it should have never happened, and it's horrible to see. Now, Donald Trump should not be sharing the same sentiment that I have for the death of Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner consistently and persistently labeled Donald Trump all sorts of horrific names that could have very easily influenced people to cause harm toward Donald Trump and his family. So when Donald Trump comes out and says how sorry he is about the situation and how it's a horrible situation, but in the same breath says that Rob Reiner did have Trump derangement syndrome and constantly attacked Donald Trump every single day, I do not think that that's an inappropriate response. I think that Rob Reiner's rhetoric could have potentially radicalized one of his followers. So between the rhetoric that Rob Reiner spewed and the overwhelming sympathy that the left showed toward Charlie Kirk, I just don't care that this was Donald Trump's response.
Hey, I got a question for everybody. Y'all think Rob Reiner would have did what Donald Trump did if Donald Trump got hit in a certain spot?
100%.
Yes, he would have.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. I think everybody would. You know how many people would rejoice that Donald was unalived? A lot. A lot. And the mainstream media would all say, rest in peace, but... You know, the but at the end where it negates the whole thing you said before. If you have to say but, you're not, like, it's a backhanded thing.
I don't even think they would get the rest in peace. Be like, thank fucking God he's gone. The same way that we saw it. We saw Charlie Kirk get unalived, and we saw what happened online with that. That's not even Donald Trump. Imagine if Donald Trump actually did get hit and he was unalived. They would be throwing parties for the rest of their lives, these people, if he was unalived.
You know what's controversial? And this is super controversial, right? I could give a shit less that this, director is dead. I don't know him personally. He means nothing to me. Great movies, though. No problem with the movies. I could personally care less. His death doesn't touch me. No offense. No offense to him. Don't know him personally. However, I was genuinely sad when Charlie died. And I view Charlie's death as more, in my opinion, it is more worse. What happened to him is more worse than Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner and his family seems like a family thing with an entitled son who's a crackhead. Happens every day. I mean, if he was just some random fat dude, we wouldn't even be talking about him. Literally happens every day in communities. But what happened to Charlie does not happen every day. And I feel, in my opinion, that is more worse and is more deserving of sympathy, in my opinion. That's just me.
Well, since Mia doesn't care about this guy, let's play some people that actually care that he was unalived.
I mean, I don't know
How
him.
did you know Rob Reiner?
I knew Rob Reiner because at a very, very down point in my career, Rob literally saved my career and really put me back on track in a way that was so important and rewarding in my life. And he really fought for me when the studio didn't want me in a movie. I was 32 years too young for the part, but he really believed that I was right and could do it. It was something that virtually nobody agreed with except one of his partners, Martin Schaefer, who was the head of Castle Rock and, one of the greatest production companies ever. And we did Ghosts of Mississippi together. And I went from really being basically out of a job to getting an Academy Award nomination. And I give all the credit to Rob. And, it's funny, people would have seen, it's impossible to talk about him in the past tense, but I'd be at a party at my friend's house, and people who didn't know that Rob and I knew each other, they'd see us laughing and, kidding each other, and they'd go, how is it that you and Rob Reiner are friends? And I said, well, what do you mean? They said, well, you're so different in your politics and so on. I said, look, let me explain something about Rob Reiner so that you know. First of all, I judge people by how they treat me, and Rob Reiner was a godsend in my life. We got along great. We loved each other. We had more fun together doing a very serious subject. It was a way to kind of get through it. And he was always on my side. But when people would say to me, well, what do you think of his politics? I would say, I think Rob Reiner is a great patriot. Do I agree with some of or many of his ideas on how that patriotism should be enacted to celebrate the America that we both love? No. But he doesn't agree with me either, but he also respects my patriotism. We had a different path to the same destination, which was a country we both loved. And when people would say terrible things to me on social media about him, I said, you got it all wrong. And yes, I can see how you can disagree with him, but because you disagree with people doesn't mean that you have to hate people. And what Rob and I could do, Rob and I could sit in a room. I could sit in a room with Sean Penn, by the way. I could sit in a room with a lot of my liberal friends and say, look, I think you're wrong about this, this, and this. And they could say the same to me, and we would find a way to work it out. And that was one of the great things about him. He was a real thinker when you had a chance to talk to him. And a lot of people just don't think anymore. And look, I knew he, and by the way, we're talking about a tragedy here about Rob and Michelle,
right?
Two extraordinary, lovely people. And you can't forget how important it is, because that marriage, Michelle did in Rob's life what Rob did in my life at a time when I needed him. And all I've ever said about Rob Reiner is he's somebody I love, respect, and cherish. And when my friend Carol called me and said, listen, I want you to hear about this before it's on the news, Rob and Michelle were murdered. And I literally said, Rob and Michelle who? She goes, Reiner. And I said, I literally, you know when you can't breathe? I literally said, and I said, was it a home invasion? And she said, we don't know, but it may have been Nick.
Oh.
And I'm telling you, I just felt the floor. I just felt my heart drop. And I just thought, what Tracy's going to go through, you know, what
did you have any
family?
Did you have any idea that this would come at the hands of the son?
No, I did not. No, that was not. I didn't know the children very well, except Tracy, because I'd also done a movie with Penny, so Tracy was around a lot. And you know, I knew them through work, and you learn everything you need to know about people when you're working on a movie. You know, it was an extraordinary experience on that movie. I worked with Rob and.
So, Kimberly, as you see, James was a major MAGA Republican, but he knew this guy personally, so his death affected him tremendously. You can see he's upset in that video. Mm-hmm. So, like, do you think that it's a disconnection because people don't know people personally and they're watching a person through a screen and this is a celebrity? Or is it, you know, some type of actual emotional attachment to these people, even though what do you think?
I think both. That's a really good question. I think it's both. I think depending on, you know, our lizard brains, our tribal mindset, what team you're on, you could either be disattached or overly attached. I see it a lot with like the celebrity culture, right? And also a lot of things now, because we have it on our phones, a lot of like dehumanizing is more like normalized, where we're kind of like desensitized to it a bit. Even with, I think like the Charlie Kirk death, like that was gruesome. I thought it was AI. When I first saw it, I was like, there's no way this is real, right? But then again, that tribal mindset, you see it on both sides, like right now with Robert Reiner and with Charlie Kirk, where depending on what side of or what team you're on, you get that expected response. I think it's a little bit of both. This guy who's a MAGA Republican and spoke beautifully about him was because he knew him personally. And I think that's just how it is, well, I can't speak for everyone, but like for me, I can be friends with anybody on the political spectrum. So I can't imagine like not sympathizing with a certain situation like this, which is also very gruesome, just based on their political beliefs, which Robert Reiner was unhinged. He's like one of those unhinged liberal Democrats. There's this term called stochastic terrorism, which is when people that are influential use a lot of like their political ideologies and influence through the media to push a certain narrative, but still claim plausible deniability. It happens a lot. Charlie Kirk was really good at stochastic terrorism. Donald Trump is good at that. Robert Reiner is good at that, where you'll get people on your side of the team to like really, really rile them up and believe whatever narrative you need them to believe against the other team to get them to act on it in real life like this. I don't know about the situation with his son. I don't know if it's enough to claim if it's a Menendez brothers situation. But there is there's a heavy demonic presence and negative energy. I felt it just living here. And Brentwood has that. We did a photo shoot there once at a house, and just being in that house, I was like, this is an ugly city. Like, you can feel it. But yeah, I mean, my condolences to the people who lost Charlie Kirk, the people who lost Robert Reiner. I mean, irrespective of our political beliefs, I think we should all be able to sympathize on a human level with others.
For sure. So before we get into the suspect, who's his son, I just want to play some of Rob Reiner's tweets against Donald Trump. This was Tupac and Biggie level type beef.
Yeah. That is stochastic terrorism. That is stochastic terrorism.
I know what it feels like to be a liberal now and see all Donald Trump's rants by looking at that. That's how I feel. I understand your pain, guys.
Yeah, you had a comment about all the tweets. I heard you say it was a lot.
It was a lot. Like, he must have had them hot fingers, like click, 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 click. Like, there was just so many. Half the time I forget I have X on my phone and I don't even post half the time. I have to remind myself to go on there.
Yeah, that was wild. So we're going to get into the suspect. So this is what to know about the son.
Reiner, the son of famed director Rob Reiner and producer Michelle Singer Reiner. He was arrested by LAPD and believed by investigators to be, quote, responsible for the death of his parents. So how'd we get here? Well, it's no secret that Nick has struggled with addiction, and behind closed doors, his parents, like many others, struggled to help their son navigate it. The tension was even the subject of a 2015 movie that Nick co-wrote called Being Charlie.
You have a disease, Charlie. We all do. All right? And acceptance is the first step towards controlling...
No, you're right. I do have a disease. It's this place. Okay? It makes you feel like a leper, and then when you get out, everyone's expecting you to up again, so you start using...
During the film's promotion, Nick appeared alongside his father in an interview and discussed his past drug use.
Well, I think I'm lucky in the sense that I have parents that care about me, and because of that, when I would go out and do, things like drugs and stuff like that, I'd feel a tremendous amount of guilt because I'd think, oh, they're thinking about me right now. They want me to do good. And most people don't have, not most people, but some people don't have parents that are, have any interest in that.
He also talked about his struggles growing up in the Reiner household.
We didn't bond a lot as a kid. Like, he really liked baseball. I liked basketball, and he could watch that with my brother, but baseball. But I just, when I saw him do that, and it was something that I'm interested in, I was like, wow, like, he really knows a lot, and like, it made me feel closer to him and be like, oh, yeah.
The night before his parents' death, Rob, Michelle, and Nick attended a holiday party at comedian Conan O'Brien's house. Nick and his father were seen having an argument, according to a source familiar with the incident. It's unclear what connection, if any, the argument may have had to those killings. Authorities have not elaborated on how the victims died or why investigators suspect that their son was responsible. Nick Reiner is currently being held in custody without bail
I mean, if you
CNN is
told me he
working to
killed
determine
somebody, I
his
believe
legal
it.
representation and
He'd be
has reached
looking
out
like
to a
that.
family spokesperson for more information.
He got that look.
He looked like Adam 22.
He got that look. I'm
He
sorry.
looked like Kev from Shameless in that last
He
video.
do, yeah.
That's what he looked like.
God
So
damn.
yeah, this is a very, important topic. Drugs is a big issue in America, mental health. So I all want us to kind of comment on this. Is do you guys feel like there could be any type of prevention? Because it seemed like he was acting out, he went to rehab, and then it still resulted in tragedy. So, and they're rich. Didn't happen in a poor neighborhood. This happened in a trailer park. These were very rich people. So money probably can't solve this issue. So whoever wants to go, what do y'all think can help with America and addiction?
Oh, you can go first.
Come on,
buddy.
you go first, because I probably have a completely different opinion from everybody else.
I got a hot take.
Okay.
Not at all.
Me too.
So, excuse
Yeah,
my
mine's
French,
not gonna
but-
be nice.
I'll go last so I can moderate all your hot takes.
All right, for sure. Fuck that motherfucking mental health. They don't care about my Black Americans' mental health. Fuck his mental health. That dweeb could have he had enough money to go get fucking help. No, he wanted to be on the king. That mean. We know what he was on that shit. Fuck his mental health. I want to hear that shit. Hell no. And we should have known he was going off his parents. He looked like Norman Bates. Them people that got that type of look scream, I will murder my mom and dad if it come to be. It's like, God damn. You feel me? So I'm not with the shit giving him an excuse of that mental health shit. Hell no, because they don't give my Black American people that mental health excuse at all. At all. Nah.
Mia?
So I want to say before I get into my hot take, first and foremost, obviously drugs are an issue in this country and everybody should seek treatment and I don't hold drug addiction against anybody. I have family that struggled and are clean and are doing well in productive parts of society. You absolutely can come back from that. I spent years as a recovery support specialist for pregnant women and new mothers who were undergoing treatment for drug abuse and addiction. It is absolutely a very large issue in this country and it attacks all walks of life, and anybody can absolutely come back and be productive from that. Now, my hot take after I said the positive. So, A, we need to stop assuming it has anything to do with drugs or mental health. And B, sometimes privileged people lack accountability and they just understand that his life is meaningless. We're talking about a man in his 30s whose father is a world-class director, whose biological full-blooded sister also is very successful. He comes from a family of successful people, and he was a loser, for lack of a better term. From all that we know about him, he was a loser. And at this point in time, I mean, that does something to you. I'm not saying he had mental health issues. I don't even think it was drug related. I just think he was jealous because he could have whirled at his fingertips and he did nothing with it besides be homeless off and on and suffer when he could have come back. You know, a lot of people that don't end up getting services, it's because they're not attainable. They're too expensive. They don't have health insurance. They don't have access. We're talking about a kid who had access, who had the means and just lacked the motivation to do something with every access point that he could possibly have. I just think he was a jealous loser, to be honest.
I agree with what you're saying, Mia, but I'm going to throw the other aspect in there. I think this has to do with him having money and drugs because I grew up like this. I grew up with money. I watched kids that had money. All of them turned to drug addicts and they're either dead or in jail right now. So yeah, they lack accountability 100%. That's what it is. I don't look at addiction as a quote unquote disease, as everybody wants to put it. Is a choice at the end of the day. It's a choice for you to continue to do these drugs. It's a choice for you not to get clean. If you go to clean and you refuse to stay clean, that's your fault at the end of the day. From what I heard about this situation was Rob wanted to put his son back into rehab. They had an argument based off of that. I don't know how true this is. That's probably what it ended up being. But here's the thing. I really don't give a fuck about this whole situation, to be honest. Not because of the whole political aspect of him going at Trump. It's the whole aspect because I hate Hollywood altogether. I think they're all fucking pedophiles. I think Hollywood should burn to the goddamn ground and all of them to just go somewhere else with all this, honestly. That's the real Epstein Island, but nobody wants to talk about it. And the second part of it is you have kids kill their parents over petty shit all the time. It's not world renowned news. It's not on TV. Nobody talks about it. Like the one that we heard of years ago was the one kid that killed his parents and left them in the fucking house while he threw a house party, all because they said no. Like this is just stupid. Like this happens all the time in middle America. Nobody even knows about it, but we got to talk about it because I'm not saying because of the podcast. I'm saying like media news and everything, because it's a world renowned actor. When this stuff happens all the time, this is not anything crazy, and everyone's going to have all their speculation. Oh, it was drugs, it was money, it was lack of accountability, everything like that. Point blank, people who come from money, their kids, 9 times out of 10, they won't have any accountability whatsoever. Mommy, daddy will bail them out of everything, and it shows right there. He's 30-something years old, living with his parents, even though he's got everything at his fingertips. He can't be trusted by himself, and that's why he fell into drugs, because he lacked accountability as a child. And that's on the parent at that point. That is because of the parent. They did not teach him accountability as a kid, and that's why he ended up being their demise, unfortunately. It's an unfortunate situation, but that's just how I feel about it.
Hold on, come on. I'm going to play a clip before you respond. And I think Kimberly wanted to say something too. So this is what he had to say about his addiction. This is what he's had to say about his son's addiction.
It's very personal. I mean, it's not a secret, but my son, Nick, who was one of the writers of the screenplay, had his problems with substance abuse, and he went through a number of rehab programs from the time he was 15 to 19. He's doing very good now. But what I didn't understand is the depth of what he was going through. And the process of making this film not only forced me to see what he was experiencing, but I think it forced him to see what I went through and what his mother went through. And hopefully the film is a reflection of that.
I think it's going to be tremendously helpful for so many people to understand.
Hopefully, we have to not punish people who have problems. We have to help them. And I think we're going in that direction now. People are starting to recognize it because it's been given a national spotlight on the campaign trail.
Come on, what were you going to say?
I got to talk about this fucking dweeb Randy in the damn chat. We tried.
Come on.
No. Because look what he's saying. And Mia didn't mention nothing about no white privilege. We trying our best not to bring race in this motherfucker right now. But if you want to bring that shit, talk about blacks kill blacks all the time. Well, this was white on white crime, motherfucker. All right. So, hey, we trying to stick to the topic and not bring the race in it. But keep on chatting. I'm going to really bring the race in and we're going to really drop them fucking statistics, okay?
White kids kill fucking their parents, straight up. You'll never hear that happen in the hood. You'll never hear that happen in a black household. You'll never hear that happen. That's white kid. That's white people for you. I'll fucking call that out.
So, Kimberly, you wanted to go last. What's your take on this?
Well, I'll just respond to that video you just posted.
Yeah.
When I see something like that, I see a man who loved his son. Just how when you see videos of Charlie Kirk, just so I can put it in perspective for you guys, when his daughter runs up to him and he hugs his daughter and he loves her, that's the same thing that I see right there. And I can make all the criticisms of Rob Reiner and all the bullshit that came out of the Steele dossier and the Clinton machine and the Robert Mueller, everything, all of that. I'm with you 100%. But it's hard to see a video like that and not sympathize with a man that loved his son, who even the day before took his son to a party. And I will say that I think regardless of your demographic, including physical or mental disability, it's a cop-out, because bad people are going to be bad people irrespective of, there are people that suffer from mental health that aren't going to kill their fucking parents. So yeah, I think this story though, for like zeitgeist or greater context or just American canon in general, this is a very, very, very talented man who contributed a lot. I don't know if you guys like movies or theater or acting, but I love a lot of his movies. And it's a lot of that I made this argument with what, sorry, I don't want to talk too much again, but again, with the, we have to learn how to separate the art from the artist and still appreciate his work and separate, you know, the crazy shit that he said, but still be able to sympathize with him on a human level, because that video just shows a man that loved his son to the very last day and his own detriment.
Can I say something real quick? I think we should all answer this because Kelly said it in the chat way above, and it was very interesting. What if the son had a reason to kill his parents? And what y'all think the reason would be?
Like I said, I think it because the father wanted to put him back in rehab and he didn't want to go back to rehab. That's my whole thing, because that's from what I heard. That I'm like I said, I'm not saying that's the case. That's what I heard. I haven't really looked into it that much. But
I did see a little some unhinged like Democrat like people online trying to claim that it's a conspiracy and he's being framed because Rob Reiner was going to speak out against, like, he was like cooking some type of documentary up to speak out against the same Trump Russia Gate thing, which is funny.
It's already been proven false. So I don't even know about that.
I'm gonna say TPUSA did it.
What?
Bro, you wild.
Yeah. Was she flying over the house in her Egyptian plane too?
Yo, Candace will be on it by the morning.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea.
It was,
now
it was the Israeli midget in the trapdoor.
It was.
My favorite conspiracy of hers.
And he jumped up and he threw $7,000 on the crime scene.
He's like, I heard you had one post. Here you go.
So this person spreads a lot of hate, and I was shocked you guys love this person, that he was mad at Trump.
This is ugly rhetoric. It is ugly. It is actually evil. Forget for a moment that we are in a war. Someone gets murdered by their son. It's a horrific tragedy. This is a horrible story. And nobody deserves that. I don't care what their politics are, what they said on the internet or on television. Nobody deserves to be murdered, stabbed to death with their wife by their own son, who they tried to help, and their best friend discovers the corpses. It's despicable. And it's despicable to make fun of that. And I do think that, you know, look, somebody like George Bush passes away of old age at the very end, and you talk about his political legacy, that's one thing. Some guy, some producer, some civilian dies at the hands of his kid. It's such a grisly situation. It is objectively awful to make fun of that. Now, if Trump were actually doing what he promised to do, you could overlook the fact that he's a douchebag. You could overlook the fact that he's vain, that he's a narcissist, that he's tactical but not strategic. You could overlook all these things if he was bringing home the goods. That was kind of the deal in 2016. You said, we don't love everything about Trump, but you know what? We're willing to accommodate. It's an acquired taste, but it's okay because he's doing all these other things. Well, what's actually the pitch now? We get nothing. We get no concessions. There are no deportations. We haven't ended one of the wars. We haven't remade the federal bureaucracy, and then he's a dick on top of it. Then it's all about his vanity and his own self-aggrandizement on top of it. What is the redeeming quality now? It's nothing. It's hollow. It's empty. So that's my take on the Rob Reiner stabbing. No one should be making fun of that. It's not funny. Who could honest to God look at that and laugh?
And so I know you want to respond to that. What do you feel about what Nick said?
Nick just talking out of his ass like fucking usual. He's trying to find some way to fucking blame Trump, to talk shit about Trump because he's got nothing going on, because he can't blame the Jews this week. That's all he's doing. He will literally jump on anything Trump does. A hippo could fall from the sky and fall on Joe Biden, and he would find a way to fucking blame Trump at this point, honestly. I hate Nick. I honestly do. His voice annoys the shit out of me. I don't understand why anybody fucking platforms him at this point. Like, he's literally just a disgusting human.
I will say this: as soon as Nick starts speaking, we get more of these goddamn racist ass crackers in the chat. Do you see what Raven 31 said? Like what the hell is it? It's called Democrats and 86% of black people. What the hell is Bird even talking about? That has nothing to do.
I also don't like Nick, and I agree with what he's saying. I think that you see a lot of pushback from even Republicans with regards to Donald Trump's comments right now, and not back in 2016 when the grab him by the pussy and all that shit came out, because he's losing popularity, he's losing favorability. Nick was unfortunately spitting facts. He hasn't ended any of the wars. We're feeling it really tight right now economically. People are not happy with the situation in our country right now. So that's why you're starting to see, I think more people who are smarter and more like politically savvy, like MGT, can put her finger up in the air and see that before it actually happens. So she's calculating before it actually does. But that's why you see a lot of the pushback with Donald Trump now, because things aren't necessarily getting better. And he's trying to start a war with Venezuela and a bunch of other bullshit. Epstein, all that, everything put together.
So before we go into our final thoughts, I want to play the interview that Rob and his son did.
Down, he trusted that we loved him and that we were there for him.
Well, I think I'm lucky in the sense that I have parents that care about me, and because of that, when I would go out and do things like drugs and stuff like that, I'd feel a tremendous amount of guilt because I'd think, oh, they're thinking about me right now. They want me to do good. And most people don't have, not most people, but some people don't have parents that are, have any interest in them.
Yeah. Well, by the way, we're talking with Nick Reiner and his father, Rob Reiner. Nick had a drug issue in his teens and beat it and wrote a movie about it. His dad directed it. And
deep down, he trusted that we loved him and that we were there for him, and that put a little bit of a brake on certain things. I mean, it's a desire to survive, and that put a little, and I think that's where we made the mistake, is that we didn't trust that he had that.
If you supported him as opposed to
you
were punishing him.
Yes, we were definitely
meaning like
punishing
grounding him. You can't use the car. You got to stay home. All that
just
stuff.
the whole idea of throwing him into a rehab place. Just saying okay, and there's a punitive aspect.
But if you hadn't done that, how could you treat him on? You couldn't treat him on your own.
No, not on our own, but we could have maybe just worked with him with a therapist and been a little bit more active in that way. I think we just overreacted, but I mean,
Nick, I
love hearing that he said that, because I knew he has that in him,
Yeah.
and there's a part of him that wants to survive, and he doesn't want to, kill himself.
If you're watching right now, hit that subscribe button and press that notification bell to know when we go live. Mia, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are, it is absolutely never too late to get help if you are suffering from any mental health issues or drug addiction. It is absolutely never too late. All you have to do is want to, and there are plenty of AA and NA free groups that you can start going to that are usually held at community centers and sometimes churches. And there's a whole host of people out there that are willing to help you get clean. Most states have resources for this, and a lot of it is free. And if you ever feel the need to commit suicide, please, please, please don't. Call the National Suicide Hotline, as well as seek out emergency services. They can help you as well, especially if you are in imminent danger.
For sure. Kimberly, what's your final thoughts?
I'll add to that, and I just want to say that irrespective of sometimes socioeconomic status, this country is riddled with diseases of despair. Our American culture, we are bred to be, like George Carlin said, obedient workers. I'll add to that, we're bred to be consistent consumers. That's our identity. So when we are bred and raised and we grow to be like that, then we don't really have a sense of identity, like culturally altogether. So it doesn't matter how much money or help you have at the end of the day. when we are riddled with diseases of despair, we need more help than just, rehab. There you go. Thank you. That's it. But everybody, what Mia said was perfectly said. Please seek help if you need it.
Enzo, what's your final thoughts?
So my final thoughts are unfortunate what happened to Rob Reiner and his wife. Rest in peace. I think Hollywood is psyop. Honestly, I think they're all pedophiles, and I think the Hollywood should burn. Shout out to the new party real quick because I got an unexpected package from the new party this weekend. I got my shirt, guys. It's a little big, but I got a shirt. So shout out to you guys for sending me the shirt. Absolutely amazing. Great episode. Yeah, that's really all I got.
That was supposed to be a surprise with everybody on the Secret Santa, but it's all good for sure. Come on, what's your
Nobody told me that.
I was about to give some air horns. You feel me? Saw that, but then I still get an air horn. You feel me?
I see a package with my name on it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Anyway, this was a great episode. You feel me? Shout out to everybody on the panel. Y'all go follow everybody on the panel. They have TikToks and also YouTubes in their handlebar. Y'all go follow them. Y'all follow the new party too. I got them pinned at the top of the chat on my side. Also, if you want to follow me, Kamal Johnson Network on YouTube. Yeah, man, Rob Reiner, man. RIP. He made some slappers of some movies. You feel me? But I will say though, he might have had TDS. God damn, bro was tweeting a novel about Donald Trump. He knew more about Donald Trump than Donald Trump knew about his damn self. That shit crazy. God damn. But it goes to show you that, hey, everybody be mocking the goddamn dead. Everybody do it. You feel me? Some people in the chat, y'all probably right, man. We getting a little uncivilized. We getting desensitized to shit. You feel me? But at the end of the day, would Rob Reiner have done that if Trump got hit in a certain spot? You feel me? It was no longer? Who knows? But the way he was tweeting about, bruh, he probably would be doing the same thing as Trump. But I do have to say, the weirdest thing that was happening with this convo was somehow black folks became in the topic of conversation. This shit was crazy. As soon as Nick Fuentes started speaking, a hunky came out of nowhere. Prior to that, somebody said, what about the black on black crime in Chicago? I'm like, what is going on? We ain't even talking about race. Somebody said, Mia said something about white privilege. No, she didn't. She didn't say a goddamn thing that said white in it. She didn't even say any words that started with WH when she was speaking at that time. But y'all always trying to say we love to bring race in it, and it's like, come on now. We weren't trying to do it, but it was so weird that in the chat, people bringing us up. That shit weird as hell. But hey, the rest of y'all in the chat, I see y'all. Y'all was up there having the chat bumping. You feel me? I appreciate y'all. Except for Raven31. What the hell is black privilege? I get it. Your mom sucking us off, I guess, is black privilege, huh? That's the black privilege you think, huh? Because you saw your mom with a black dude and you saw a certain pole in her mouth? That's Raven31. I try to spare you, goddammit. Goodness gracious.
I've never heard of that, Kamal. What is that?
Oh, no,
Yeah,
Lord.
Go ahead. Explain it.
What, a pole?
Oh, my God. All right. So, RP, the Rob Reiner, his wife, condolences. You know, I definitely like A Few Good Men. I like a few of his movies. We do this every Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll be hosting this week. We actually have people going to AmFest. That's what TPUSA hosts, is one of the biggest conservative conventions in the country, and we'll be bringing you live footage from there. So please come back. We'll have that for you this week. Thank you for watching. Like we always say on New Party, always vote.